Hey guys, what's up? Grimmission Sam back with another video, and today we have another episode of Tennessee Titans franchise Week 17 against the Houston Texans. They are 3-12, so they have lost another time since we have faced them back in Week 15. We're looking to win this game, of course, like I have repeatedly stated over the last two games. If we win out, and if the Colts and Jags each lose a game, we have the possibility of getting the number one seed. Well, actually, we need the Colts to lose out, and we need to win out, as well as we need the Jaguars to lose out. If neither team loses out for the rest of the season, then we won't have a chance to go out and get the number one seed. So I am going to look at the Colts schedule. I'm going to see who they have left. They have the Raiders and they have the Texans, so I don't think they'll lose out. Let's go ahead and check the Jaguars schedule as well. You have the Panthers and the Titans, so they have the Panthers and us, of course. And then we can go ahead and look at the records while we're over here. The Raiders are 7-8, so there's a chance they could upset Indy, but I'm not counting on them. And then the Panthers, I think the Jaguars could win this game. Both teams have an easy game over the next 2 weeks. The Colts have the Texans next week, and the Jags have Carolina this week. So both those games should be pretty easy for them. I don't expect them to lose out, but if they do, and if we win out, we do have a chance to take the number one seed in the division, not in the conference. I think the Chiefs and a couple other teams are too far ahead for us to really look at that. Yeah, the Chiefs are 12-3, so I don't think we'll be able to get them, and I don't think we'll be able to stop the Baltimore Ravens either at 11-4. So I don't think we'll end up being able to compete for the conference as well as the Bills being 11-4. But I think we do have a chance to compete for the division, or at least be very close. Of course, if we do not end up winning the division, it will come back to us not being able to win our conference games against the Colts and the Jags. Like, we lost both games against the Colts. I'm pretty sure we lost the first game against the Jags. So that does come back to bite us a little bit. Weekly awards from last week. If I didn't show you guys last week, Caleb Farley had 3 picks in that game. Geno Smith just struggled in that second half, just throwing the football. He just struggled the full game, really, after the first couple drives. They just couldn't get it together. We do have some upgrade players to go over. Tajay Spears, of course, has an upgrade. We're going to go elusive back still. He is a superstar now, so that is the good news. We're not quite at an 80, so he only has one ability right now. And I do kind of want to make it recuperation for right now, just because he'll be able to receive fatigue boosts in his stamina between plays, which will be nice for us going forward, as we are going to have to lean on him in these next 2 weeks and in the playoffs once we do get there. I'm not quite sure if we've locked up a playoff spot yet. I'm pretty sure if we were to lose out, I'm pretty sure there would definitely be some teams looking to take advantage, mainly the Bengals and possibly the Chargers. So if the Chargers lose another game, I think we'll be guaranteed. I think if we win and the Chargers lose, we'll be guaranteed a spot going into the playoffs, at least a spot. Let's see, the Chargers are taking on, give me a second, the Denver Broncos. So they do have a chance to win that game as well. We do have some staff upgrades, but since I do have it on slow, they do cost a little bit more. And so I'm not going to be upgrading anything currently at this moment. I haven't tried to negotiate with Josh Thompson or Aaron Brewer yet. I'm going to do that after the game. I went ahead and did the practice. Nothing for weekly strategy as in terms of depth chart increases. Depth chart and roster are staying the same going into this game. So let's get things underway. We're hopping into this game. We're going to be wearing our normal away uniforms. Nothing has changed for the uniforms for us today, just wearing the normal aways. The Texans will be wearing their all reds. I wanted to show these off for the Texans, and they look pretty dope. I'm not going to lie, they do look a little bit better. I did change out their socks, though. I did make them go from red socks to white socks, since they are wearing white bottoms. Texans, like I said, last time we played them pretty hard. CJ Stroud had accuracy issues throughout the day, and we were able to force him into some tough situations. Now, of course, this isn't upgraded CJ Stroud. He's not at like an 80 like he is in the current Madden. The Texans will start at their own 25-yard line. Now, of course, it's weird because they do have Noah Brown returning kicks. I guess they just don't have anybody else capable on the roster that they think should be returning kicks. CJ Stroud, not a great year. 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. The 2,900 yards makes me think that he did miss time. I feel like because of that, I feel like if you played all 17 games, you should definitely have, you're going into your 16th game, you should have a little bit more than 2,900 yards. As we get washed down by the offensive lineman, Amani Hooker misses the tackle. Devin Singletary starting off the game hot, 10-yard rush there. Yeah, we get washed down by that offensive line by Shaq. I would assume it's Shaq Mason and Lucas Patrick. And now we will be facing another first down here from the Texans. Going to go 5 wide here, covering everything underneath. And Amani Hooker just gets beat by Robert Woods. They'll pick up a first down after a 12-yard reception there. Don't love Monty Rice being in coverage here, manned up, but I think it's better than having the safeties. Jeffrey Simmons breaks through. A little bit forward of a ball. Caleb Farley ended up making a play on the receiver. 2nd and 10 now. Something I want to ask as a question is, do you guys prefer a commentator to more like Chris Collinsworth or a guy like Al Michaels, right? Because I've seen some people be like, there's no way Thursday Night Football brings back Al Michaels, and I agree that the enthusiasm and the chemistry with Kirk Herbstreit just doesn't seem to be there. I don't think you run it back with, as Jeffrey Simmons gets a sack, bringing up 4th and 16. We'll talk about this once we get the ball back. Marquez Stevenson up to the 25-yard line. Will Levis will come out for his first drive of the day. And the conversation basically goes as follows. It's like, would you rather have Al Michaels, who isn't really, that enthusiastic about the game going on, or would you rather have a guy like Chris Collinsworth, who's going to be like basically meat writing the players? And I always have said, like, I would rather have Chris Collinsworth, and he makes the game more exciting for the fans. But some people don't agree. They're like, it's kind of annoying when he, continuously praises players. 1st and 10, handoff Spears. We don't have a dev trait challenge for him this week, but 5 yards there. Going to continue to look to get him involved, but I do want to get Haskins more involved as well. Just from the standpoint of, I don't want Spears getting injured right before the playoffs. I've had that happen in other franchises where, I'm playing well, and then my main guy goes down right before the playoffs. Like in my Broncos franchise, my 3rd-year quarterback went down literally 2 games before the playoffs, and we were trying to compete for the number 1 seed in the conference, and he goes down 2 weeks before the playoffs with a 4-week injury, and it just sucked because it's like, now I got to rely on a 2nd-string QB. 3rd and 1 here, going to go pass, dump it off to Spears in the flats there. He had a linebacker on him. I thought I could maybe back juke, let Perriman kind of go past me a little bit and cut back inside and pick up some more yards. Not the case there. Z spot here. Looking for Burks. And once he hits this little stutter step and go, if Stingley's not on him, and if the safeties don't play directly over top of him, if it's cover 2, I should have a chance. Phillips open on this. Perriman played it well, but Will Levis just didn't give a ball that could be caught to begin with. Burks here, as soon as he breaks, if this linebacker doesn't drop right away, could be open. If these linebackers drop too aggressively, Spears open underneath. No, they play it pretty well. Will Levis scramble, rush, 3rd and 1 now. Jalen Petrie, right? I think that's how you say his name. There to make sure he doesn't pick up the first at least. I'm going to go with the sticks. D-Hop 1-on-1 here. If he gets put in man coverage, no matter which way he breaks, I feel like we'll be open. Gonna run Phillips on a streak, and we're gonna bring Burks back on a curl. No, he plays inside leverage, and he wins it on Hopkins. Will Levis scrambling down though for a first. Like I've said, I hate saying sneakily athletic because that's like the little quote or the little like tag that white players are given when they're athletic, is sneaky athletic. Phillips, I don't know what the fuck ball I was trying to throw there. I think I was trying to fit it over top of Shaquille Griffin. Not quite going there. Like I said, I don't like that tag for white players. The sneakily athletic, it's kind of feels degrading in a bit for just not towards white people, but in general, it feels like it's trying to say something. I don't know. I don't want to get too political here. I don't know. I just don't like it. Will Levis is definitely athletic. Don't get me wrong. But then again, quarterbacks in this league are becoming more and more athletic every year, it feels like. 3rd and 10. Not really seeing anybody. Just dump off to Josh Wiley here. See if he can make a play. 4th and 2. It doesn't seem like it would work. We'll hop out of it. Julio Jones now in the game. Jeez, D-Hop comes out. Might motion Julio across, see what that does to the linebackers and the corners. Yeah, get it going. Oh, and Will Levis has room to run into the end zone from 19 out on 4th and 2. A good block from Nicholas Petitfier downfield on the safety. And Will Levis goes into the end zone almost untouched. For the most part, I think he was untouched based off of Madden. I feel like there would have been a hand or two that could have swiped at him as he was running, especially past where the tackle and the safety were. So that motion for Julio really worked out. It helped us get that corner pushed back a little bit more. 1st and 10 here for the Texans. They're going to start off at their own 25-yard line, electing not to take the ball out of the end zone. Going to hop on to Buddy Johnson here. Manned up on the fullback, Andrew Beck, which this is also before Andrew Beck probably got an upgrade. He probably got an upgrade once he returned that kickoff. He apparently has played well, for a fullback, he's played pretty well for the Texans this year, at least from what I've heard. Man coverage here. I didn't really break out on Dalton Schultz, but luckily Hooker's there because he had to play man coverage on his guy. 3rd and 1 here. I'm expecting a run, but I could be wrong. No, it's a play action fake, and that's exactly what you should do. I thought it was a run, and they just hit that ball. Tank Dell, that's another person who's going to get a major upgrade when we restart this franchise. He's going to go into the 80s, I would assume. Got to slow down this air game. I think we should mainly focus on slowing down this air game. But then again, when Damian Pierce and Singletary are off to already 30 yards on 3 rushes, it's kind of difficult to say, hey, let's slow down the pass game when can't slow down the run game either right now. I would like to slow down the run game as well, just because we've had success slowing the run game down in recent games. I think these last couple games we've had pretty good success, all things considered. I know we held, the Dolphins and the Seahawks to both under 50 yards. So our rush unit is definitely coming back, I would say. But it's mainly, and I don't think I've, decreased rushing to a point where I'm just overly dominating. I think this defensive line is finally just showing up a little bit better. It doesn't feel like people are just getting to Shire and forcing these linebackers to make, a play on both the offensive lineman and on the running back. Robert Woods there, 2 for 34 now. 1st and goal nearing the end of the first quarter. They can virtually do about anything here. They've had a decent amount of success. We were lucky to stop them on that last drive. Covering over the middle. They're going to dump off Pierce here. Can Molden and Farley? No, they can't make the tackle. Molden and Farley not really able to step up there. Marquez Stevenson up to the 29. Will Levis back out onto the field. The one thing I really want to do with Will Levis from here on out for the rest of the season is just limit turnovers. I think that's the biggest thing going into this right now. Of course, not scoring touchdowns either isn't particularly helping us with him. But it's not like we're losing games either. Now, yes, those turnovers, when they do eventually do cost us the game, is going to be quite painful. But as of right now, I'm not too worried about it. That will be the end of the quarter. 2nd and inches when we return. Going to go PA slide here. 2nd and inches. Start of the 2nd quarter at the 38-yard line. Like I said, PA slide, get moving. I see the corner coming fast. That's Shaquille Griffin. Josh Wiley runs over one, trips over another, and gets all the way up to the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for Josh Wiley now. Like I've said before, I gotta trust these tight ends just a little bit more. I don't think I did it enough with Chig. Josh Wiley's getting a lot of work right now, which is fine by me. He's a rookie and he needs to develop. I would like to keep him around for years and have him as that good backup. 2nd and 1 now after a 9-yard rush from Tajay Spears. 102 total yards so far. We're going to go play action here. Going to have Wiley. I don't know if I should have him leak right away. I don't know how many of these guys are going to be coming. Because if it's 7-on-6, we're going to get hit almost immediately. But 2 guys in the flat should help us out. 2 of them drop. Spears underneath. Wobbly pass. He does end up catching it on the sideline. 1st and 10 now. 4 for 7 for 24. I got to limit the hits on Will Levis as well. I know he's probably a big, strong, physical guy that can absorb hits, but they do stack up. Wiley on this out against, who is that, number 5, Petrie. Again, catch, 5 yards there, 3 for 21. Nothing too explosive for Wiley, but all the yards help. They're not really loading up this box to the left, which is kind of dumb of them. I like running to weak sides when it calls for it. Hopkins, good block there. In and out. Tried to back juke Jimmy Ward and Petrie both there. 5 for 52 now for Spears. 104 yards rushing. I still got to decrease the run blocking a lot, I feel like, for us. 1st and 10. This is why I wish that we could get a little bit more going with Hassan Haskins. Spears was tired right there, and he didn't really get out to the flat all that fast. Okay, 2nd and 5 for us. Now we're going to go double slants here. Do want to do something kind of different. We're going to keep Spears in, and then we'll send Phillips to the flats. Get somebody open here underneath, possibly. Dropping back to pass. Blitz coming. Throwing the ball basically away. Kind of just throwing at Burks. Hoping he could maybe make a play. Doesn't quite get that done. I don't know how well rested Spears is right now, so I don't want to go with this draw and then be put in a bad situation. He seems to be recuperated now. If Peter Skoronski can get up to this linebacker, I think we'll be in a good spot. Snap the ball, and no, the linebacker comes immediately. I think that's Christian Kirksey, former Brown. The Texans will start at their own 25-yard line again. CJ Stroud, 4 for 4 for 50 yards on that last drive. Couple good rushes there from Dameon Pierce is involved as well. So their offense is not slowing down, really. Get over there with Monty Rice, but Laramie Tunsil picks both Shair and Monty Rice up. The guy that's normally known for his pass blocking there with a good run block. 2nd and 5 now. Going to bring Monty Rice down into the box a little bit more. Force this O-line to be alert of these linebackers almost immediately. Out route here from John Mechie, and Caleb Farley overruns it. 7 for 8 now for 72 for CJ Stroud. Just performing a little bit better than what he has. He's only had one bad ball today, that overthrow on that slant. 1st and 10 now. Gonna hand it off Dameon Pierce again, and he cuts back. Finds the open hole. Over pursuit by Shair. Ends up getting Dameon Pierce 7 there on the ground. Like I said, cut back and right up the field he goes. Bring Key down instead. Force him to play that end of scrimmage. Probably works out here as Pierce, no lead blockers, ends up getting one brought down. Gets up holding his shoulder. Now his wrist, of course. Madden doesn't know what injuries are. They just kind of assign one at random, it feels like. 3rd and 2 now. Play action fake. They're running the same play we run. He's not rolling the correct way, and I tried to jump it with Monty Rice, and it's just not compatible. 4th and 2. Halfback stretch right side. Let's go with it. Hands the ball off. Josh Wiley gets a good block, but Nicholas Petit-Fier doesn't quite get a good enough block on Will Anderson. The Bama superstar ends up getting through. 2nd and 9 here. Play action fake. No, not a play action fake, apparently. Rolling out right, and just Will Anderson right there gets his sack. He'll come away with the first sack of today for the Houston Texans. Will Levis slow to get up. That's never a good look. I don't want to exploit the fact that these safeties don't want to line up over top of Hopkins anymore. I'm going to leave it as is for now. Josh Wiley behind this linebacker, but in front of the safety, and Petrie comes up and makes a good play. 4th and 11 will force us to punt the football away. 3:32 playing time left for the Houston Texans to go down and score. CJ Stroud will take over at his own 40-yard line. Looking to come out and get this offense going. They have these little spurts, and all of a sudden one bad play kind of puts them in neutral, and they kind of just roll backwards. 1st and 10, play action fake underneath to the tight end, 84. I think that's Quantro. Yeah, Trenton. I think it's like Trenton Quantro. Partial fullback, I think, as well. But now that they have Andrew Beck, they don't really need him in that role. 2nd and 8. Going to go with a little trap play here with Shaq Mason and Devin Singletary. Dalton Schultz comes up limping now. 3rd and 7. That's been a big part of their offense so far today on those quick little releases underneath. Expect to see some type of deep pass looking here for Tank Dell across the middle. Monty Rice nowhere to be found. Gets washed down by that wide receiver underneath, opens up a hole right behind him. Tank Dell making a good play there. He's played well so far in both games that we've played him. Is one of CJ Stroud's main targets in real life and in here. Oh, and Robert Woods with a hole shot picks up the first down and 10 at the 13. Robert Woods, somebody we were drastically underrating in terms of just what he would be able to accomplish against our defense. But when you have one of the worst rated defenses in the entire league, it's going to show, and a lot of people are going to be able to eat. You know what? I do want Byard short. I don't have him. I don't have the superstar, ability that helps breakouts on deep ends. So may as well get him down in the box and help out this defense a little bit more underneath. His superstar abilities should be able to help us out. They'll go 5 wide here, virtually 5 wide anyway. Caleb Farley gets beat by Tank Dell, but a bad ball from CJ Stroud ends up bringing up 3rd and 10, just a minute 53 remaining in this half. And put Shire over top of John Mechie. No, it wouldn't be a great matchup if they were in man, but fortunately they're not. Tier Tart gets through, and so does Joseph Osai. Half a sack goes to each of them. That's the second sack on the day. We're going to let the clock tick out. I know I have 3 timeouts, but I'd rather save them for the offensive side of the ball so I can look for a little bit more stuff underneath and a little bit more stuff across the middle than anything else. I'm fine with a minute. If I feel like if I would have left a minute 40 on the clock and called a timeout there, I feel like we would have had too much time to almost go down and score, and we would leave time on the clock again for them to go down and have the possibility of scoring. A minute 3 is what we'll have to work at the 23-yard line. We can still run the ball maybe once or twice on this drive if we really want to. The main thing will be going out of bounds. Kevin Byard's down with turf toe. We'll lose him for the rest of the game, so we'll see a lot of Josh Thompson. So this will really be his make or break game of whether or not we re-sign him, to be fair. These corner routes should have a possibility, especially if they're one-on-one. Looks like they're running zone. We're going to hit Phillips underneath. Try to get him out of bounds. He does get out of bounds, and they do say forward progression, so the clock will stop. Anybody wondering why the clock doesn't stop when you go out of bounds in Madden or in real life? If you don't have forward progression, they will not count it as going out of bounds. So it's out route by Treylon Burks. Catch, run, out of bounds. 2 quick hitters gets us all the way up to the 38, 15 yards for a grand total of 9 seconds. That's really working out in our favor. Drop back to pass. D-Hop beats his man. Just not quite there. Will Levis just struggles with his accuracy outside towards the numbers. That's something we're going to have to work on a lot in the offseason, is those outside throws, especially when it's a big part of these big physical receivers, route trees. It's hard to continuously throw with a quarterback that can't hit those. 2nd and 10 now. Dropping back. Find Spears underneath. Get him out of bounds. Just pick up a couple yards. I didn't see a whole ton right away, and this defensive line is definitely going to be working towards... they have basically straight away rushes. So, gosh, the amount of people trying to call me on my phone right now is ridiculous. Going to have to take a timeout here, unfortunately. I did let the clock roll down, and I can't take a 5-yard loss, especially on 3rd down. I'm going to run this halfback slip screen. If the line gets out there, and if they're not playing man with these linebackers, this should be an easy pickup. And just Tajay Spears gets held up by the defensive lineman. I mean, that's technically a holding call in real life, but a good punt by Stonehouse pins them inside their own 20 at the 16. 1st and 10, 37 seconds. These first 2 plays will determine a lot of what the Houston Texans want to do, whether or not it is, go for it. Monty Rice has a chance at a pick and drops it. There's no way that just happened. We have a chance at a pick, and he drops it. 2nd and 10. 34 seconds. If they get an incomplete pass or something along that line that stops the clock again, I'd be more than willing to call timeout on 3rd down. Josh Thompson gets burnt, but overthrow by CJ Stroud. Devin Singletary, smaller running back. You can't throw it up as much. 3rd and 10 here. Like I said, we get a stop here. I will more than definitely call a timeout, get us the ball back. 26 seconds. It doesn't leave us a whole ton of time and a whole ton of options. but a good ball or two from Will Levis could definitely put us in field goal range and give us the opportunity to go up 3 at half. Marquez Stevenson, a big return here, could help set up stuff too. Up to the 49, 18 seconds. If we hit an out route or a quick hitter here, we would have a chance for one more play and a timeout. D-Hop here on this right side looks interesting, but Burks' man is lined up a little closer inside. Gonna hit Burks, and it's picked. He just jebaited me all the way. Steven Nelson picks it off. He played it so well. As soon as Burks breaks, I throw the ball, and he just jumps it. That's insane. 14 seconds. They have 3 timeouts. They can do whatever they want here. As long as they pick up yards, they'll have a chance at this. A hop on Harold Landry. Try to get him going against Laramie Tunsil. Monty Rice just can't make a play. 2nd and 5 now. 11 seconds. Gonna hop over to Osai instead. And Chris Harris underneath catches up to Dalton Schultz there, the tight end. 3rd and 3. They pick up this first. They're virtually in field goal range. Hold them here. Shair just can't come down quite hard enough. They'll get up to the 44. Yeah, they're going to go for this field goal here. We're going to call timeout, ice the kicker, see if we can get, and it doesn't, won't even give me a chance to block it because this game's dumb. Like, the game is literally picking field goal. Fucking let me run field goal block. And they would have hit it, too, if he was accurate. At half, 10-10. We're going into the half 10-10 tied. Fortunate, especially with that pick at the end. Going to go with this bench pivot here. Start of the second half now. And, the keys of success that I was noting in the first half just haven't gone our way. Turnover there late in the half. Just not really going our way. 9 for 17 for Will Levis. Has missed a couple balls pretty badly, to say the least, as well. Going to go with this jet sweep here for Burks. Guara and Hopkins need to seal this edge, though. 2nd and 5. And they don't. And Petrie's right there. No, Denzel Perryman's right there to make that stop. And then when stuff like that happens, of course, when we get behind the sticks, it doesn't help either. So, just miscues by the offense just haven't gone our way. Going to run with Will Levis. Has to pick up the first down here. 5 for 65 for Levis. He's had a pretty decent day running the football when we've had to go to that. Going to go with this tight end in look. Spears gets matched up with a linebacker. He could have one-on-one capabilities here. It is zone. Burks underneath. Just thrown behind him and can't make a play on the football. 2nd and 10. This is unfortunate, to say the least. This team should be playing a lot better than what it is. Run a wheel route with Spears. Get him one-on-one. It looks like they're bringing pressure, so it should be 5-on-6 here. Yeah, it's 5-on-6. Wiley, he ends up stepping in front of the safety there, picking up the catch. When I threw that football, I thought Wiley was going to break a little harder. He still stepped up and made the play. He's gaining my trust more and more with every play. Spears here, one-on-one. Perriman slows him down just enough for Jerry Hughes to get there. Unfortunately, we do lose a couple yards there. That's tough. At our own 42, I think we have to punt the football. I wasn't seeing a whole ton open, but then again, I only got to my second read before I felt the pressure. Not a great punt, a punt of only 31 yards. They'll start off at their 31. I angled it too much out of bounds, and that's going to be unfortunate, giving them good starting field possession here. 1st and 10. Underneath to Robert Woods on the sideline. Catch, out of bounds, 2nd and 6 now. I know we got to go to the air a little bit more. The ground game a little bit more, but man, it's tough. I want to get this pass game going, and just nothing going the correct direction that I want it to. 3rd and 1 now here. Devin Singletary playing pretty well in Damian Pierce's absence, just like in real life. Drop Monty Rice into zone coverage here. I don't need that extra blitzer. And there's Mario Edwards and Harold Landry coming up big with the stuff. 4th and 3 now. Singletary losing a couple yards there. Brings down his average as well. Got to run the football here. We need Guara and Wiley to step up in this run blocking game. And they just don't hold the linebacker enough for Spears to really get going. If they would have held that linebacker like here's the thing. Hold that linebacker just a little bit longer. Don't necessarily be wanting to go up to that third level right away. I can make the safety miss, but if I can't make that linebacker miss, there's no point in you getting that block at the third level. Going to run curls here. Nothing really open, and here comes the D-line. Sheldon Rankins with the sack. 3rd and 11 now. We're not getting a whole ton of blocking time either. So it's not like... It's both ways with this passing game right now. I don't have a whole ton of time to develop plays, and I don't have a whole ton of accuracy either. 3rd and 11 here. Looks like zone off rip. It is. Going to hit Burks underneath. Going to fight for the first. Not quite getting it there. 4th and inches. We're going to hurry back to the line. We're going to go to a different formation real quick. Going to go read option here. Let's see who they put at the line of scrimmage. Burks. It's fine by me. I don't really care as much about that. Just going to hand off Spears. Nope. It didn't want to give it. Okay. Once again, we're plagued by Madden not understanding how to line up a defense correctly. So that's wonderful. Going to hand off here. Singletary. He started off inside. Took it back outside and picks up yards there. 7 there. 2nd and 3 now. Playing man coverage. I'm going to try to get to Monty Rice before. Nope. The play starts. Singletary just going everywhere. Just cuts one way, cuts back the other, cuts off a block, and picks up a first. They've only been in the red zone once, and they've gotten 1 field goal out of it. Or they've been in the red zone twice, and they've gotten... I don't know. I didn't see the stat correctly. I wasn't really looking at the stat all that much. 1st and 10 here. Jair just not really willing to go up and make a play there. 2nd and 6, 4 yards. It was him one-on-one with Singletary in that gap, and I was trying to get him to go forward. He just wasn't really willing to go. Monty Rice trying to extend this play. There's Tier Tart coming up with a big stop. 3rd and 5 now. One thing I would like to do is bring in a better pass rushing defensive tackle so that Tier Tart is mainly just focused on run stopping downs. Dalton Schultz catch at the 1, down at the 1. 1st and goal. They'll have a full new set of downs here. Don't expect this defense to come up clutch here. 1st and goal. Fullback power. Not in yet. 2nd and goal. Down at like the inch line. We go 60 base here. Move the defensive line just over just enough. Gonna run commit here. Singletary one-on-one with Josh Thompson, and he loses. That's not going to help your case, Josh. That's really not. 17-10 here late in the 3rd. Trying to get something going here. They're bringing down that safety. I'm thinking it's a blitz off that side. Josh Wiley on this wham play. Doesn't get the tackle because the guard doesn't release clean enough. Only 2 yards there. Unfortunate. Blocking assignments not really going our way. This offense is just struggling right now. Could look at a change of play at quarterback, if anything. 2nd and 8. Trap play. Spears bounces to the outside. Wesco picks up a block. Spears, one-on-one. Makes a man miss. And then there's Will Anderson with his good speed tracking us down. D-Hop making a good block, and that's continuously why I want to keep him more and more each game. Keep Spears in. Rotate the line to the right. Motion Phillips across. I don't want him disturbing Hopkins. This corner route could help out as well. And that's the end of the 3rd. Wow. Didn't notice that the game clock was rolling down as fast as it was. If I'd have known that, would have tried to get the ball snapped a little quicker. I kind of want to go back to that, see what would happen with that if they line up in the same skid. They rotate safeties. So I wonder what that means. Snap the football. Playing deep zones, so they kind of cut that off. Will Levis just scramble and pick up yards. 4 yards there, 2nd and 6 now. It's not quite how I wanted that to play out, unfortunately. I thought that maybe that would help get Hopkins one-on-one with his man on the backside, but not quite. 2nd and 6 now. Zone coverage again, looking Burks underneath. Picks up the first at minimum. 13 for 22, 76 yards. These receivers just aren't going to develop when we can't get them the football and we can't get them yards. It's one thing that's really struggling right now is the development of these receivers. When Wiley and Burks probably have all virtually all the yards. It's not going to help. Hopkins over the middle. Secure catch. First down inside the red zone. At the 6. Wiley and Phillips could be an option. Hopkins, if this is man, could be an option as well. Zone coverage again. Gonna scramble. Burks. Catch. Oh, and it's fucking illegal touching because he touched the back line. Fuck me. That's unfortunate. As a receiver, you got to have better awareness than that. That's not really my fault. I can't see that you're touching out of bounds while I'm trying to read through my progressions. Going to go with a run play here. Give Spears the opportunity to score here if capable. Motion Burks in. And he just... I don't know why he's going on like an orbit fucking... I really don't know how to explain that. I really don't. Like, and I guess it's my fault because I motioned him in, I guess, when I wanted him to come down and help out on a linebacker. Cut back, Spears, into the end zone, touchdown, tie game. They'll start off with a 1st and 10 at their 41 after a good kick return here. They're going to audible here. They see something they like. Try to get to Shair. Nope, going to end up back on Monty Rice. Cover this outside stuff. McCreary comes down and Robert Woods. 2nd and 2 now. 6:30 on the clock. They're moving. Yeah, it feels like they would have a much better day than what they've had. You know, only 17 points when this offense feels like it's been virtually unstoppable. It's kind of crazy. Dalton Schultz over the middle. Amani Hooker just nowhere to be found. Josh Thompson on that outside receiver. Damn, this back end's really starting to struggle now that Kevin Byard's been out. That's unfortunate. AJ Moore now in the game, as we do have some 3 safety sets. I'd like Molden to be in, if anything, but with the 3 safety sets, next man up is technically AJ Moore, so he'll be in. 2nd and 12 after a run play. Going to put Monty Rice on this edge. If they run the ball out that way, at least then he'll be trying to force him back in, and Monty Rice there with a sack. 5 tackles on the day and a sack. 3rd and 21. That's the 3rd sack for us on the day. He's played well too. AJ Moore back in the game. Going to bring him down into the box. You got to play in the box if you're going to be in this 3 safety look. Devin Singletary just picking up yards there. Picks up, what would that be, 9? 13 for 53. They're going to have to settle for a field goal, but with 4 minutes left and this offense not really being a powerhouse today, we are going to have a chance to go down and win. Mark West Stevenson out to the 22. You know, I paid him all this money. I mean, it's not a whole ton of money, and of course, like I said, I can cut him at any time. But if I'm going to pay him this money, I'm going to try to get my most out of him. I'm going to see if, you know, we can make some big plays. Hasn't come up with a big one recently. 4 minutes left in this game. We can still run the football. That is something that we cannot get away from, is we can still run the football currently. Spears gets stood up, and anytime any running back gets put in that animation, I'm always scared that it's going to get stripped almost immediately. We can go close PA sale. Now, have Wiley released right away. I don't love these check and releases, because then it normally leaves a end on a tight end, and then once he releases, it's a free rush, basically. So after like a second, it's a free rush. Wiley was open underneath, and ball gets popped in the air. That's virtually going to be game. Petrie comes up with a pick. The best we could hope for right now is to stop them here, force a field goal, and be looking for a touchdown. But that's, you know, giving us a minute 30 left. Haven't had a whole ton of success running the football. Shair comes up with the tackle on Singletary. There is a penalty flag holding on the offense. We're going to take them back 10. Just makes the most sense here. 1st and 15. They're going to go 5 wide now. Have everybody line up in base. I don't need nobody being stacked over top of people. It is a screen. Robert Woods trying to go for a strip here. Force a turnover. 2nd and 2 now. 8 receptions, 103 yards. Jesus. They are just relentless right now on my booty hole. I tried to hop inside, and it's an outside run, 3rd and inches now. This is where a stop needs to come into play. We're going to call a timeout here. If anything, the 2-minute warning will slow the clock down again. I'm almost willing to run commit. And Singletary just... Do we almost let them score at this point? Like, probably not. Call timeout here. Try to preserve some of the clock. 2-minute warning will stop it again. I come off that edge real hard with Josh Thompson. He just fast enough to escape. And right there, just nobody stepping up. 2nd and goal now. Call timeout here. Got to come up with a stop. This defense has struggled here in this second half. And there's Jeffrey Simmons on the edge, gets the stop. 3rd down. Of course, as the Texans, you're looking for that touchdown to go up 2 scores. But you almost have to be willing to concede and just run out 40 seconds of this clock as well, I feel like. At least I would. I need some help from this D-line right here more now than ever. Closing down everything underneath, and Jeffrey Simmons comes up big with a sack. So at least we will not be down 2 scores. We will only be down 1. We'll be down 6, but we will have the chance to go down and make a play and win the game virtually. Of course, no timeouts, minute left on the clock. We will start off at our own 25. The kick was pretty deep in the end zone, so I elected just to, keep it there. I didn't want to, risk anything. 1st and 10 here. Spears run a wheel route. If you get matched up incorrectly with somebody, then you could be an option. 1st and 10. Phillips, sideline. Catch. Out of bounds. 1st and 10 now up to the 42. Like I said, just not a whole ton of the passing unit going our way. Spears, real quick here on this quick out, could be something. They go hard, though. Kyle Phillips again, and it's swatted away by Shaquille Griffin. Could have been picked, probably. Just not enough arm strength on these throws, I feel like. Just not really getting the ball there. PA crosser is probably one of our best options currently. I send Hopkins on a streak instead of a post. Wiley quick here as well. It could be open, but kind of sitting the same way where we threw that pick. Hopkins. It's floated, though, and it's picked. Gets hit as he's throwing, and that's game. So, won't be looking at the number 1 seed in the division. Just losing this game really, and it really brings up an interesting point. Three straight games with 3 picks really brings up the point of, is there a possibility we go back to Malik Willis at this point? Malik Willis was at least putting up numbers, but he was losing games. But Will Levis just hasn't been putting up numbers, and then with this loss, it kind of shut some stuff down, and Will Levis also has the 2 losses versus the Colts, so brings up a valid argument for Malik Willis at this point. CJ Stroud will have to kneel out the ball twice, but they will escape here. They will win a game at home. D'Amico Ryans will get his 4th win of the year. Nothing currently like how the NFL is going. Of course, the Texans are in the playoffs currently at the moment, but man, this game sucks. It really does. A lot of it's my fault. That bad pick to Steven Nelson, the bad pick to Jalen Petrie, just not taking checkdowns, not running the football enough, I think really comes back to bite me. I'll take this loss, of course. I don't know what we'll do against the Jags. Do we rest some starters, give our backups a chance to play? Could be an opportunity, especially some of the more dominant pieces. Give Caleb Farley, Kevin Byard, Roger McCreary, Jeffrey Simmons days off. Give Tajay Spears the day off. Stuff like that. Could be a very, very big potential right there. Just the pass game has struggled the last 2-3 weeks, and it's really shown. That sucks. It does. I'm not even going to go over stats. I think we all know how this game played out. I'll see you guys back at the main menu. So, of course, with us losing last week, both the Colts and the Jags ended up losing as well. So we could have had an opportunity of going out and getting the number 1 seed in the division. Unfortunately not. No matter what happens here, we won't get the 1 seed. Because if we get to 11 wins, the Colts will have both the tiebreakers on us. We'll have the tiebreaker on Jacksonville, which could get us to the 5th seed. But at that point, it won't really matter all that much. I don't know. I'll decide by next video whether or not I want to start the starters or not. I think I'm going to continuously go Will Levis here. Reason being is because I don't want to have a negative interception rate. So far, we're sitting at 11 touchdowns, 12 picks, if you guys did not know. And I want to see if we can figure something out. Because if we can't figure something out, I need to know going into the playoffs if it's just going to be like Malik Willis and the 3 running backs running fucking read options and stretch plays the whole game, or if we'll actually have an offense. I've looked at the stats; they look pretty good so far going into this final game. There's nobody I really want to like get the ball to all that much. We're playing pretty well, all things considered. We don't have any leaders, I think, on any of the boards. I know we don't have passing, rushing, receiving. No, I think Hopkins is about 150 yards away from that. I think rushing, Tajay Spears is a little over 100 away from rush leaders. Interceptions leaders, we do have Caleb Farley at 12. He's had a phenomenal year. But other than that, nothing too spectacular. Going into this last week, we just got to protect the football, I think, is the major talking point. And it sucks losing out like that, losing that game like that, and not being able to at least have something to fight for. The only thing we really have to fight for right now is which seed we would currently be sitting at. The Bengals also hold a tiebreaker against us, as they did beat us earlier in the season as well in an overtime shootout. So if we win today, Jacksonville will drop to the 7th seed at minimum, and we'll get pushed up to the 6th seed, which then would result in us taking on another pretty heavy hitter, I would assume, in Baltimore. Now, of course, if Kansas City or Baltimore or even the Colts end up changing positions, it'll all change. At this point, I think the playoff teams are pretty much set. It's more about the seeding than anything else, because the only other team, who was it that was close? I know the Raiders were close, but they're not quite there. Who was it? There was another team that was pretty close that I was looking at that was like, oh, hey, if they win their game. The Chargers, yep. The Chargers were 8-7, so they must have lost last week. And so they're out. So I think the playoff teams are set. I think it's more about the seeding than anything else at this point. We'll take a look here. AFC. I don't know any of the tiebreakers at the moment currently, so it really just depends on tiebreakers at this point. So if we win, we'll at least jump to the 6th seed, and Jaguars will be the 7. If the Bengals lose, though, we will hop every team and go to the 5 seed, which then would result in us probably taking on the Colts, I would assume. I don't remember if they have a hard game or not going into this week. Stuff could change if the Colts have tiebreakers on any of the other teams. They could play them, of course. They could move up and the other team could move down. I have no idea. As of right now, if we win and the Bengals lose, we will move up to the 5 seed, though, which could result in an easier opponent. I would rather play the Colts than I would the Chiefs or the Ravens. I just don't think we have the playmakers on defense right now to really put up a good fight against the Chiefs or the Ravens at this point. I know we played the Ravens pretty good, and I think we actually ended up beating them in London, but there's a lot of stuff that could go, other ways. With that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video or any of the videos here on my channel, I'd appreciate it if you guys stick around and subscribe, hit that like button, and push the notification bell to be notified anytime I post a video. I have more videos like this coming out, hopefully sooner rather than later. More Titans franchise videos, more rebuilds, more stuff like that, more Bears React content, stuff like that, roster updates, hopefully in the future as well. Hopefully soon with the season ending, I'll probably start getting those out again. With that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.